Oh, you're good. You're good.
Thank you. This is a big deal for this man right here tonight is, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. But I am the one who is going to introduce the man that's going to introduce that man. So, I did second best all the time. Anyway, I'm glad a man here that runs the highway department in Anderson County, and he's president of the Tennessee Association this year, Gary Long, and he's known Billy for a long time, and he's going to tell you some stories on Billy here.
All right.
Gary, thank you. And it's hard to follow a man with blue lights and a gun. So. Twice as big as I am, but that's nothing new with me. But no, we've known Billy for a number of years, and it's a privilege to be down here tonight with him and the family and supporters. And you're lucky to have this gentleman willing to sacrifice his life and his family, and it is a sacrifice, I'm going to tell you. I've been road superintendent for a few years in Anderson County, and not to offend nobody, but I tell you, I think it's a special place in heaven and hell for road superintendents. Because you go through a bunch of it. I mean, Billy has done an outstanding job helping Eddie. It's in his blood. They do DNA, but we check them for gravel and asphalt. It's in his blood. They do you a good job. It's Papa, Don, I knew him years ago. I've been road superintendent 24 years. I've worked up there about 32 or 3. And I was raised up rough as a cob, followed the mules, and doing great work with a little old dozer, nothing to work with. And Billy will do you a good job. I mean, he's helped us in the association. We have these meetings and seminars, and people say, oh, you're just going to Nashville, you're going here. But it's all about connections. And the governor, a few years back, they give us a fuel tax, and it was a life cent for road superintendents. We're the last ones to get money. I mean, your schools, your ambulance, your sheriff, they have to have money. And a lot of times, the highway department's funding is limited. You have to learn to do with what you've got. Each year, you take in new roads. You spend the same money on more roads. And Billy do you a good job. There's no doubt about it. But now listen, being here tonight is great. Appreciate it. But it's right, it comes down to the votes. I mean, the yard signs is good, bumper stickers, all that's good, but you gotta vote to make it count. You got a great opportunity to let Billy serve you, and he'll do you a good job. He knows how to do it, and he's done a great job helping Eddie. And you've got a woman from in here. I'll tell you right now, you gotta have the drive in here. No matter who you are, how big you are, you got the woman. That job is tough. This gentleman's job here, you couldn't give it to me with 2 guns. they deal with a lot of knuckleheads. But anyway, the road superintendent, they'll call you in the middle of the night, 3 down, snow and ice. It's always his fault. I don't care if they can have a wreck, be driving on slick cars and be drunk, but it's still a road superintendent's fault. But Billy's been around, and it's an honor to be down here in his behalf. And Pickel and the Palmer family, they're family. When you get in this organization, you might be a Johnson Huckabee or a Fritz, but you're still family. Because it's a brotherhood. You go to these meetings and you figure out what the problem is. But knowing to me, I don't know how, but water always runs downhill. And people say, well, it didn't used to come in here, Gary. Well, yeah, it did, honey. If they didn't have a pump and pumped it across the road, it'd run downhill. But everybody calls you road superintendent. Billy's been around long enough. He's seasoned. And I'm tickled to death to be able to introduce him to you all, and you all know him as well. He'll make you a good man. Just get behind him, help him, and most of all, vote. I tell them, they say I'm going to get in trouble, but I ain't yet. I tell you, vote early and vote often. So that don't mean you got to vote in the same election. Well, I just less than I think you can, but no. But it's all about the vote and knowing people. You say, well, I don't know nobody. You don't even have to live in Loudon County. You'll know somebody in Loudon County. I mean, people say, Gary, I can't help you. I'm not an answer. Well, don't take it. They know somebody lives down here. Family, in-laws, outlaws. They know somebody that can help you. But do yourself a favor. I don't know if it would be a favor for Billy and his family, but do yourself a favor and help elect Billy. Is it in May? Primary? But that's what it's all about. It's down to the vote. We appreciate y'all coming out. I know Billy and his family does. Got a great bunch of people here, and some of us already had to leave. But do Loudon County a favor and put Billy in office, okay? And Billy,
thank y'all for coming tonight. I want to thank my family, though, my wife Carol, and the rest of my family that's behind me. And I wouldn't do this if they wasn't behind me. If I can't get their vote, there ain't no sense in me doing this. I've been overwhelmed and very humbled here tonight to have you all here and enjoy and then take part in this exciting moment for us. And it's for us. It's not for me. This isn't about me. My name's on the signs. My name will be on the ballot. But it's for Loudon County. Yes. And it's for the guys that get this job done. If you're an employee at the highway department, would you raise your hand? There were some others here earlier, but they had to leave, and that's fine. Some of them wasn't able to make it. I've had text messages coming in here, but you know, I've been with Eddie since 2010, and I got the pleasure and the great opportunity that you know, I got to grow up with the road superintendent, with Mr. Palmer being elected in 1982, and you know, as soon as I was old enough to ride around with him, you know, I'd go spend the night and get in the car and go with him. And most of the time I was just looking for something to eat. but you know, a few of the guys that worked for him back whenever I was a kid, you know, they're still with us. We just had the opportunity to celebrate a gentleman that worked for the highway department 40-something years. And that's dedication, and that's through thick and thin, because work's just as hard now as it was then for $7 an hour, less than that when you started. You know, it's the highway department. We've been able to do a lot of great things over the last 10 years. Andy's done a great job for the last 12. But through some unfortunate circumstances, I got to come to work in 2 years after he was elected. The foreman the assistant that he brought in got sick with cancer right after Eddie took office, and had him beat, but he came back. But it was a conversation that me and that assistant had. I guess now that I can look back on it, kind of started on. He said, "I'm going to help Eddie get through this term, and then I'm going to try to get you back in over here at the highway department, because I think you'd make Eddie a great assistant." You know, that was a nice comment. Didn't think a whole lot about it then, but a few months later, he got sick, and I saw Eddie and Carrie out and asked him, you know, if there was anything that I could do, and he said, "No, he appreciated it," and everything else. Well, he called me the next day and offered me the opportunity to come back and work with the highway department, and I've enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun to get to see the county grow, and the things that we've been able to do, and the things that I've been able to learn under the 10 years, that because there's so much money out there that we just got to go after. And all you got to do is a lot of times just ask them, you know, have you all got it at TDOT? Have you all got any money for this? And they say, "Oh yeah, we've got all kinds of money for it there. You know, fill out all this paperwork." Charlotte's not much care for that. But we give it to somebody else, they don't care a whole lot about it either, but they do it, and they do a great job. And that's one other thing that I want to thank, you know, our employees at the highway department, you know, it's a small part of the big wheel, because we got an office building over there that takes care of finance and purchasing, and we have a great relationship with them. Whenever we want to buy something, if we got the money, they let us buy it. You know, we going to some of these highway superintendent associations, me and Eddie's heard some horror stories about things that goes on in some of these other counties, and we've had it great here in Loudon County, and expect it to continue on just as good later as it is now. We want to do even more things after election. Right, this all works out, and like Gary said, people go vote. I mean, the bumper stickers, the hats, and the shirts, and those things don't vote. People vote, and you know, it's in May. The pages come off my calendar a lot faster than they used to, so it'll be here before we know it. But I do want to thank y'all for coming tonight. I think there's still some refreshments here. If y'all want to take time to get it, we got the place full. I think 8:30 or 9 o'clock, but, so stick around and, have a good time. Thank y'all.